So who is Japan's favorite character from Wuthering Waves so far? What about their least favorite? Sure, we can scour Twitter for hours to get a rough judge of things, or take a look at some of the questionable subreddits to see what they think is the case, but that can only go so far. Luckily for us, there is a poll taken on the official Wuthering Waves Discord server every few months to see where the players stand. And with the latest one closing just a few days ago, I thought it'd be interesting to take a look. There was a total of 847 votes in this poll, so the sample is limited but not insignificant. And keep in mind, this is a poll not for who they feel is the strongest or best in general, but rather who their own personal favorite character is. As mentioned before in previous polls, this is a one man, one vote type poll. So just because some characters are lower on this list, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are hated or even disliked, just that that is how many people have them as their number one. No ranked choice voting here, unfortunately. Also, this poll was created on the 21st of July 2024, so some of the latest characters that have been announced since then, as of recording this video, won't be included. Stick around to the end because there are going to be big changes to how these polls are taken in the future. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe because that would greatly help the channel. Also, a bit of a spoiler warning, numbers 12 and 13 will surprise you. I know that sounds like some typical YouTuber, oh, it will surprise you. No, I seriously, when I saw these results, I could not actually believe that they were what they were. Sorry, I'm just getting confused now. I could not believe that that was what they were. I wish I could speak English sometimes, you know? You'll see what I mean anyway. So with that said, let's get to it. Number 20, with 6 votes, Enbu, otherwise known as Yuanwu. I know my friend Amethyst Abrams is not going to be happy with this choice because Yuanwu is actually his most favorite character. Yes, the Discord moderator is his favorite. I don't know why. Ask him. Next up at 18 and 19, this was a tie, both with 7 votes. The first one that I have up here is Verena. I'm not surprised by this. I mean, despite what people may say about Japan and their particular preferences, it isn't really the case. That isn't true. Verena has been consistently at the bottom of these lists since as far as these polls have been taken. Like, I think on the very first poll, she was right at the bottom. And the second person with 7 votes is actually Aruto, otherwise known as Alto. I like his trailer. His trailer's always been really interesting. I particularly love the music as well. He seems like a fun person. I like his personality, but okay, it is what it is. Next up at number 17 with 8 votes, so very close to both 18 and 19 here, we have Morutefi. Morutefi is consistently in the higher rankings for like meta teams, like his off-field DPS as a fusion DPS, particularly in teams with Jian. He's always up there. But in terms of popularity itself, he is always somewhere in like the bottom third or the bottom quarter. So typical 4-star, been there since the start. He doesn't really have so much hype around him as a character. I mean, we haven't really seen him in the story all too much. Like when we did see him, a lot of people wanted to get through his part, let's just put it that way. So I'm not actually surprised he is that low in terms of popularity. Number 16, with 11 votes, so going into the double digits finally, we have Chika, otherwise known as Chishia. Again, Chishia, I think Chishia's got a bit of a boost in recent times, with her being one of the main 3 characters that tag along with Rover, the other 2 being Yang Yang and Baiji. I'm actually not surprised that she's where she is. So moving on, again with another tie at 14 and 15, both with 13 votes, we have Yang Yang. So again, she's one of the main girls that I was just talking about to do with Chishia as well. I've heard a lot of people say that they really don't like her, particularly to do with how much she talks about things in the beginning. But since then, I've seen people say that her recent additions in the main story quest, she's not talking as much, she's not as like grating as much. I don't know. I never really had that problem like, in the first place. I don't know why. I just didn't really feel that much of an issue with acts 1 through 3. I really enjoyed how natural and fluid sounding the conversations were. There wasn't really too much in terms of like dead space between people who were talking, so I was actually really happy about that again. So I never had that issue, but I know a lot of people did, but still a relatively decent performance, I think. Again, tied with Yang Yang for 14-15. Another with 13 votes, we got Orie Jeje. She was one of the most recent additions. I'm actually surprised that she's as low on this list as she is. I think what happened is that because she was released later on since this poll was announced, I think people just hadn't really seen her yet. Like, even though she had been announced at the time of this poll, the actual update hadn't been released, so people didn't know who she was, what she was about or anything. So we just had her image at the time that this was released. So in future polls, I think that number is going to go up quite considerably. Number 13, with 14 votes, we have Kakuro, otherwise known as Kalkuro. Yeah, again, he has also been someone that is surprisingly on the lower side of the list compared to the amount of people that really like him in EN. So in JP, even though we have the whole Sephiroth thing going on, people in Japan do love Sephiroth as well. He's always been somewhere in like the bottom half at best. Yeah, it is what it is. And as I mentioned before, number 12 with 16 votes is actually Ling Yang. So Ling Yang, The lion dancing boy beat out Kalkara, which I thought was absolutely insane. I could not believe this at all. Ling Yang is not just a meme in EN as being one of the worst 5 stars. He's actually a bit of a meme in Japan as well. I've seen his name being thrown around. I was like, oh, Ling Yang, Ling Yang, Ling Yang. On boards such as 5chan. So I was really shocked that he was high on this list. It's not a list about who's the strongest or who's the most meta. It's about who people like the most. Again, the only real reason I can think of why he is higher than Kakuro is because Kakuro just hasn't had his companion story quest, which is really insane. Like, where is his companion story quest? We haven't had those we haven't got one for Janshin, Kakuro, or Verena yet. I mean, we're going to get one for Encore in the next update, but these 3 as well? I mean, what's going on? Come on, Kuro, we need these. So hopefully we might be able to see something for him later on in the future. But yeah, that is like literally the only reason why I can think of Ling Yang being higher than Kakuro in this list. Moving on to number 11 with 17 votes, so very close to number 12 here, we have Kanshin, otherwise known as Janshin. We don't really have Janshin's companion story quest. However, we did meet her in the main story quest near towards the beginning, and we know who she is. We've interacted with her before. I don't care what anyone says. I really do like Janshin, her whole personality and all sort of thing. I think Janshin is one of the most underrated characters in the game. Like, I know a lot of people kept on saying, oh, she doesn't really have the DPS for single target battles. Yes, she doesn't. She's more of an AoE multi-target crowd control. She has a bit of everything, in my opinion. She's got shields, heals, crowd control, pretty decent DPS as well. I mean, she's just like an overall really well balanced character, which fits in with her design. The whole yin yang, her whole entire thing is about balance, and she's, in my opinion, very balanced just in general. Number 10, so we're into the top 10 now. With 21 votes, we have Taoki, which is Tauchi. This was actually surprising. I think one of the reasons why she's so high on this list is because, again, she has a huge personality. I think that's one of the reasons why she is so high, because again, like, she's also someone that we don't really have much interaction with in the main story quest. We see her near towards the end of Act 6, but we don't have her companion story yet either. But there are 2 big reasons why she is so high on this list. Okay, number 9, with 22 votes, we have Soryo, Xiangling Yao. Again, this also goes into why I think Jeje was so low on the list as well. Like, at the time of this poll, Zhang Liao had been announced, but there wasn't anything in terms of like what people saw of him. We just had this image. We didn't know who he was, what he did, or anything at the time. Like I said, when people had cast their initial vote, they just like cast a vote and forgot about it. So I'm expecting that in the next round of polls, he would be considerably higher in this, because since he had been released, I've seen a lot of people in JP actually completely maxing him out. Like, they really do like this character, like R6ing him. Not that high on the list, but still, I think he's going to get a huge bump in the next round. Okay, to number 8 with 37 votes, so quite a bit of a bump here. We have Anko, which is Encore. Encore has been somewhat popular in these polls since the start. Again, she's just really cute, particularly in the main story quest, where we see her like looking up at Rover and saying, let's play, and that sort of thing. She was absolutely adorable. So I think that those kinds of scenes really ingratiated her to the minds of the players. And yeah, I think she's absolutely adorable. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do with her in her companion story quest, which is going to come up in the next update. Like, the picture that they showed seemed really bright, but they also did the same thing in her character trailer as well. So I'm hoping that they're going to like start off really bright and bubbly, but slowly go into more the isolationism that we saw at the end of her trailer as well, because I think she's got a bit of a dark story behind her as well. So I want to see what they're going to do with that and see how they explore her as a character. So number 7 with 38 votes, so a very close call between number 7 and number 8 here. We've got Sanka, which is Sanhua. I mean, Sanhua has been a popular character just in general. I don't know about you, but I really love the whole stoic battle maiden type thing, like Ice Queen type thing, like the Kudere type characters. I really do love this, and she is one of the most popular 4-star characters in Wuthering Waves, like basically since the start, because her entire vibe, like, just she looks so really cool, no pun intended. If they had made her a 5-star, I would have said, yeah, makes sense. But no, she's a 4-star. I mean, the 4-stars in this game are designed really well, in my opinion, and I think she is one of the best examples of that. Okay, number 6 with 38 votes. Again, all really cutting it close here. We've got Kian, which is Jian. I'm surprised, to be honest. I didn't think he would be this low on the list. I thought he'd be in the top 5 at least, maybe top 3, but no, he's like is in number 6 here. We had his companion story quest. I loved the ending of his companion story quest. It was just so touching and really interesting there. The thing that I really liked about his companion story quest was the area, the whole that area that we explored was really beautiful, and I'm really sad that we can't go back to those areas. Not just his area as well, but also other areas in, like, say, Yinlin's story quest, or even Ling Yang's story quest as well. Those areas are designed really well, and to say that we can only visit them just at one time for this companion story quest is an incredible waste. I mean, they should allow us to go back into those areas for whatever reason. They should bring those areas back into the story for us to explore and have fun in, because it's a waste. It's just a complete waste. But yeah, it is what it is. Number 6, 38 votes, Jian. Going on to number 5, so top 5 now, with 47 votes, so quite a bit of a bump. We have Tankin, Danjin. This one was surprising because we haven't really seen her at all in the main story quest. So her being as high as she is really surprising to me. Because we haven't had a companion story quest, we haven't met her in the main story quest. Even despite all that, she is incredibly high on this list. I think it's got a bit to do with the whole crazy but cute type thing. That, like, not entirely yandere, but she did have more of a yandere vibe. But they've since toned that down. I think they should bring it back in my opinion. But from what I've seen, they're bringing more of the yandere style in with one of the latest released characters, Camellia. Who is not in this poll, unfortunately, because this poll was before Camellia was announced. So, number 4, with 49 votes, we have Yinlin. I think this poll's rigged. I'm sorry, I think this poll's absolutely rigged. She should be much higher in this list because she's my wife. We are, like, legally married. This ring here, it's our wedding ring. I just need to let you all know that right now. We are married. Don't touch her. Don't loot her. She's mine. Top 3 now, with 54 votes, we have Other. I was really confused, like, why Other? I mean, the only thing I can think of, like, of course this is all encompassing, is that people wanted other characters that have been introduced later on, such as Camellia, or other characters such as Frolova, or I don't know, maybe some of the NPCs, because some of the NPCs in this game are really top notch. Like, I've already gone through, like, how Yan is amazing as well, but also the woman from Jeje's companion story quest, like, she was fine. I mean, don't even get me started. But, like, still, yeah. I think another reason why this number is so high is because this is why I put this image here. The rovers weren't included in this poll, and also Baizhi as well. Like, the rovers and Baizhi were not included in this poll. Maybe there's like a limit to how many people they could put on the poll, and they had to cut a few characters out, and they just settled on those. And I think that's also why they're making these huge changes to how the polls are going to be taken out later on in the future, which I will get into a bit later on in this video. Number 3, Other. Okay. Number 2, with 182 votes, so, like, more than triple number 3 here, we have Konshi, otherwise known as Jinse. I'm not surprised at all. Jinse is a really good character, and particularly with how we interacted with her in... It wasn't even really her companion story quest, it was the main story quest. Like, how we explored Mount Firmament with her and got a bit more of her backstory and saw more about her. Like, yeah, she's really risen incredibly high in like, everyone's opinions, I think. And yeah, Jinse is an incredibly amazing and complex character. I think there's more to her than what's been shown, and I really hope that we get to see more of her in the future. That leaves number 1 with 247 votes, so quite a huge lead. We have Chori, known as Changli. She just completely blew everyone out of the water in here. Like, I don't even think this is to do with, like, recency bias. I mean, there may be a bit of that to do with this poll, but again, I've been looking at the other poll for the one that's released for this next one, because I want to see how things are going to be playing out, and spoiler alert, she's still pretty high on the list. Wuthering Waves players in Japan absolutely adore Changli. Her whole entire vibe. She is by far the runaway favorite. Yeah, I have to agree. She is absolutely amazing. She is a phenomenal character with a lot of complexity, like, especially when we saw her backstory as well, like what she had to deal with when she was growing up, someone that couldn't really control her powers, and whenever she uses her powers, it takes a toll on her body and all sort of thing. She's an amazing character. For me personally, it's really close between Yinlin and Changli. Both of those are right up there. Like, if I'm married to Yinlin, Changli is my mistress. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, this is the poll with all of the votes here, like 1 through 20. I think they can only put 20 options on this poll, which is why that Rover and also Baizhi were not included in this list, which is unfortunate, but still, it is what it is. If Baizhi or Rover are your favorites, I do apologize. However, in saying that, as I've been mentioned before, I've looked at how the polls are going to be taken in the future, and they're actually going to split them up. And because if you see at the top of here, like the top 5 here, they're all women, like Danjin, Yinlin, other, I'm guessing female Rover, although male Rover is also very popular in Japan as well. Jinsa, Changli, these are all women. They're actually going to split these up, both male and female. So there are 2 polls on the official JP Wuthering Waves Discord. One for the male characters and one for the female characters. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they're all lining up. And also, they are actually including other characters such as Frolova, and also the recently announced characters such as Shorekeeper and Yoho. Just as I was recording this video, they also announced another character, a hamster character, which is not included in this poll. This poll was announced, and then literally about an hour or 2 after that poll was announced, another character was announced. So if they just waited a few hours, they could have had that character in there as well. But it is what it is. So yeah, I'm really surprised, particularly to do with that number 13 and 12 here, like Kalkara and Ling Yang. Okay. I would have expected Ling Yang to be more. I mean, I know Ling Yang gets a lot of hate, but like still being as high as he is, I thought he would have been more near towards like the 16, 15 level of things. This is the rankings of who the most popular characters are in Japan in Wuthering Waves. So, what do you think? Do you agree with this list? If not, let me know down in the comment section below. And again, if you like this video, I would greatly appreciate a like and for you to subscribe, because I have more videos like this coming out in the future. So until next time, I will see you in the next video. Peace.